Alright, so for this engine to mate with the compressor, I need a certain size belt. I have a bunch of belts, but none that are actually the right size. I have one here that I can make work. So I have a ability via the slots that I cut out to shift it back, but it's not quite enough. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this compressor off the tank, and I'm going to move the pump part of it forward just slightly, probably 2 inches, so maybe up to here or so. So let's move the pump forward, and then we should be able to mount this without any issues. So first, to start, we're going to remove this copper line as well as this plastic line. Both of these go into the check valve right here, and this prevents pressure that's in the tank from backing up once it's already entered the tank. So we'll go ahead and remove both of these. Okay, we'll set this aside because we'll reinstall this later. Now for this line actually goes to the unloader valve and regulates the pressure of when to cut in and cut out for engine RPM. Alright, so now that we got the two hoses off, we can go ahead and start to remove those bolts there. Alright, we have the one side done. Let's go and do the other side. Alright, now that we have all 4 bolts out, we can go ahead and remove the pump, set that aside, and make sure we save all of the bolts and washers associated with it so that we can put them on in a little bit. Alright, so next step is going to be transferring these holes up just a couple of inches. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little measuring tool, measure up probably about 2 inches or 1.5 inches from the center, probably about 2 inches from the center, and then I'm going to move all the holes up, mark the location, and then we can start drilling. So I'm using this little tool here. I'm going to set it at 2 inches right there. So there's the 2 inch, and let's transfer all the measurements. Alright, now that we have markings marked here, I got a cross there, here, here, and here. I'm going to put the pump back on just so we can make sure things are lined up before we actually start drilling. So from looking in each of these 4 holes, it looks like everything is lined up pretty good. Alright, so now let's get drill out and drill the right size hole for each of these bolts. So the way to determine size here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and kind of match it up with these. And as you can see, the threads go right along the side of this, so that's probably a good fit. Also, I can use it in here. As long as they fit in here, then we should be alright. So if I go up to the next size, not through. So it's definitely going to be this here, which is 3/8, and I believe this bolt's probably also a 3/8 here. So now we can go ahead, drill all 4 of these holes. Drill's all set up. Let's drill these 4 holes. Alright, so the 4 holes are drilled here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now we can go and make sure all the holes here line up with the holes on the pump. And if that's the case, then we can screw it right back in. Alright, excellent. All 4 bolts go right in. So let's just put up the engine here on this side. Just make sure when we tighten things up, everything will line up good and we won't have any problems. Alright, here's the engine. We'll line it up at the closest position on the slots, and we'll get the belt and put it on and make sure that everything works. Alright, so I have it in a position right now, and as it would be sort of on the tighter side, and let me just make sure all the holes will line up, and if they do, then we will go ahead and tighten everything up.